Hey guys, welcome to my April TBR, where I feel ambitious and talk about all the books I would like to read in the month of April, but if I was being honest, I probably won't get to do very many of them. So just a little preview for March's reading. It has been slow, slow, and I think next week my wrap-up will come up. So you'll find out how slow, but there has been a lot of life things going on, hence why I've been posting less videos. Our house has been up for sale, we are looking at houses and other things are going on, and my brain is too busy mentally to like sit down and read, even though like I would like to get to all the books I said I wanted to. So it's a pile of possibilities is what it is. So I have 3 books that I'm definitely going to at least attempt, and then a whole stack of books I would like to get to, and we'll see where things go. So the very first, these 3 are kind of for different, no, I have 4. I forgot about one. Okay, so I have 2 different reading challenges, and then a book club, and my Patreon book. I'm actually going to talk about my Patreon book first because I don't have the physical copy. I should just double check here. So my patron of the month picked I think it's a fantasy, maybe it's like science fiction. It's enhanced by Candace Cade. I'm blanking on the author. So I'm either going to be purchasing this book or I'm going to listen to the audiobook from my library. I haven't decided yet. I think I'm gonna see how my month is going. If I have more time to listen, then I'm gonna do that route. And I actually don't know anything about the book other than it is published by Enclave Publishing, which is, I can't type and talk at the same time. Usually that's a good sign for me. Enclave Publishing, I have a good track record with them. I really like a lot of their books. So this is a book number 1, and I will read a little bit of the book description and we'll hear about it together. Lee Urban is living a lie. In a society where everyone's DNA determines their destiny, being a natural means an automatic relegation to the gritty and dangerous outskirts. With the harness power of gene editing, the ability to create a superhuman race has transformed the world and offered the opportunity of a genetically enhanced life, but only those who can afford it. Born a natural, Lee Urban was adopted into the enhanced high society of the Asian Federation and forced to conceal her genetic roots. This has like lots of buzzwords for me. I really like the futuristic, the whole gene editing thing reminds me of a couple different books that I've read, and I like it when people are kind of hiding on the outskirts of society. So yes, that sounds good to me. So that is one book I will be definitely reading in April. Then for my Read Your Bookshelf challenge. Now, depending if even if you've gone on the Montgomery side or if you've gone on the Doyle side, in April we're coming together and we're both having the same prompt. And then from here, after you read April's book, you can decide if you want to go the Doyle route or the Montgomery route until the next time it comes together. If that sounds really confusing, I have a whole video explaining the challenge this year and how I'm doing things. But the prompt for April is a red-headed character. This is a nod to Anne of Green Gables, and it is a nod to the Red-Headed League, which is a short story of Arthur Conan Doyle's. If you guys want recommendations, I did a short with a few recommendations, and there are comments with a couple other books people are reading as well. I'm going to attempt a book that I think I'm probably going to DNF. And for myself this year, well, any year, if I DNF a book, I'm still considering the challenge complete, because right now my goal is to kind of like go through books on my shelf, and if I don't like it, then I can just get rid of it, so that's also helpful. So I'm going to be trying My Contrary Mary. I DNF'd the first book in this series. No, I DNF'd the last book in the Jane series. I really enjoyed My Lady Jane. I loved My Plain Jane. My Calamity Jane, I quit. Now we're starting the Mary series. And this has to do with Mary, Queen of Scots. And these are alternate history, fantasy type stories. I have a feeling, based on what people have said, I will DNF it, but I'm assuming she has red hair since the character on the cover of this has red hair. I'm taking it anyway. I don't know if I have any other books on my shelf that have red hair. I'm supposed to be reading a Shelby Holmes book, the first one, this month, like in March. She has red hair. I might not get to that. So if I don't get to it and I DNF this, maybe I'll read that. Also, Tarnished Garden is another book I kind of wanted to get to in March. Haven't been able to yet. She also has red hair. So I guess I do have a couple options if I DNF this one. Then this year I'm also trying the Buzzwordathon. I haven't read March's book yet. It's a bit of a theme. But April's prompt is a nature word in the title, and this is a book I want to read before my birthday, so it kind of has to go on this list. It's The Bird in the Tree by Elizabeth Goudge. I want to read an Elizabeth Goudge before my birthday, which is in May, and then we've got bird and we've got tree. I feel like that's double points. I don't really know anything about this. I know this is the first in a series. It centers around the desire of two of the very tightly knit family to marry, there's the two of the very knit family to marry each other. The thought was frightening and worrying to Lucille, who after years spent in trying to make Damarose, I don't know how to say that, a special haven for the Elliot family, is now faced with the possibility that its special aura may soon be spoiled. But in the end, the house's magic holds fast. I'm not sure. I'm gonna give it a try. And then I am reading an Agatha Christie each month this year, kind of as a book club over on my Patreon, and then I'm doing a video sharing my thoughts, maybe trying to guess what's happening. And April's book is The Secret of Chimneys, and this one says, little did Anthony Cade suspect that an errand for a friend would place him at the center of a deadly conspiracy. Drawn into a web of intrigue, he begins to realize that the simple favor has placed him in serious danger. As events unfold, the combined forces of Scotland Yard and the French, I won't even try to pronounce that, gradually converge on Chimneys, the great country estate that hides an amazing secret. Yeah, I'm not sure. I don't know if we follow... I know I looked it up when I was originally making the list of the books I was going to read. I don't know if we follow any of her side detectives. We don't follow a normal, one of her bigger ones, because they will say over here. So, I have never actually heard anyone talk about this book, but this is my read for April. I'm really enjoying reading her books once a month. I did that a couple of years ago, shared a lot of videos on YouTube here trying to solve them. And I like to space them out at least monthly because otherwise they kind of all get meshed together in my mind. So once a month or maybe every other month is kind of the best way to go through her books for me personally. I am going to be doing a decent amount of traveling in the month of April. Generally, like I haven't traveled much for years, and then when I do though, it's always like a bunch in one time period. So I'm thinking of some ebooks during this time. I still love me a physical book, but it might be better to at least have some ebook options. And one that I've been intrigued about is The Enchanted April. Since it's going to be April and I've just been in the mood for classics, if I'm going to be doing some ebook reading, that's a really good option that I might pick up. The other one is a book that I'm currently reading, and I don't usually share books that I'm currently reading on my TBR because I feel like I'll have finished it by the time this video goes out. But it's a chunker. And so I also got the ebook out from Kindle Unlimited because I think I'm going to take this on my road trip, but there might be times where I just want to read it on my phone or on my tablet. I might not want to take this everywhere. And it is Blood of the Stars by Karen Norton. So I'm on chapter 6, 40 pages in, so I feel like anything I'm going to tell you here is not a spoiler because there's so much more book to go. But I'm really enjoying it. So far we follow two main characters, and I don't really know how to pronounce the girl's name. Eliana, maybe? Eliana? Not sure. She somehow was like almost like teleported to a different world. They call it something in particular, which I read and I can't find right now. But she has some kind of magic. So pretty much she got not adopted, but like taken in by this couple or their siblings, I don't remember. And they just use her for her magic. Like, so they're not a good influence, and her magic somehow, if they bleed her, then her magic can come out and they can use it. It's not good. And they have they're looking for some kind of treasure or artifact, and they killed a girl who was going to be a priestess, I'm forgetting all the terminology, at this abbey type thing, and our main character is gonna take her spot and try to look for this artifact. She's hoping it will help her be able to get home. They are hoping, I don't know, that it will help them with their magic or something. And then we also follow Garen, and he is the prince of some kind of land, fictional fantasy land. Also, she sent this beautiful colored map. I love maps in books, but I don't look at them. But because this one like pulls out and is color, I find myself looking at it all the time. So he is the prince. I don't know how big his kingdom is. I don't know if he's the prince of this entire kingdom, but they have some kind of magical power, which I've got a bookmark for this. This is the Wheel of Magic. So different people have different spokes of magic, and so he can tune his magic to the memories people leave. So if you've been in a room, he can like use his magic to see the memories you left, to see maybe who's been there or something. And he is looking for this girl, who is our other main character, because he saw her disappear. There was like a burst of light and then she disappeared. But his sister, who is going to eventually be the queen, because she's older than him, wants him to stay with her and like be her support. She seems to need him for some reason, and there's something fishy going on with her parents as well. But I'm only, 40, well, I've only read like 41 pages, so I don't know a whole lot yet, but I am loving the writing style. If you guys follow me on Instagram, I shared a little snippet of the first bit of chapter 2, which I'm going to read to you because, well, I'll read it. 3 hours into the party, Garen eyed a fork near his parents' anniversary cake, weighing the risk and benefits of stabbing himself. A significant enough injury could get him removed from the obnoxious crowds filling the palace rooms, but it would be hard to make it look like an accident. Besides, he hadn't found his sister yet. If Enla didn't see him, he wouldn't get credit for attending, and he needed credit before he could leave. So I shared that on an Instagram story and was like, I think she's an introvert, or else she really understands them. And it seemed like she's an introvert. So yeah, I'm just really loving the writing. And if a person can predict after 40 pages, I have a feeling this is going to be a 5-star book. So I have a lot more pages left, hence why it's going on my April TBR. As if that book wasn't mammoth enough, this looks worse than it is. This is a bind-up of C.S. Lewis's signature classics, and I want to read Mere Christianity. I've started it before. I read chapter 1, which was possibly... Oh, that wasn't very long at all. No. What is this? Oh, I read... It's in books. I read up to book 3, chapter 2. I read 70 pages of Mere Christianity and was kind of overwhelmed. I think I can do better. So I want to restart it and see if I can actually finish it. I actually, that's not true. I am going to stick with it until I finish it, even if it goes beyond April. This book also has the Screwtape Letters, which I read in February and own another copy of. Miracles, The Great Divorce, The Problem of Pain, A Grief Observed, The Abolition of Man, and The Four Loves. Ideally, I'll get through them all in the near future, but starting with Mere Christianity. I haven't even officially hauled this book yet because I haven't been doing a whole lot of videos, but I just got this book in and I'm so curious. It's called Winter Heart by H.D. Fox. First of all, what a beautiful cover. I love it. And I know it says winter and April is like, okay, you're getting pretty far into spring, but sometimes I like to read in the season and sometimes I just like to read out of the season, because sometimes when you're reading a winter book, in the cold, you're like extra cold. But if you read it when you're warm, then you're not so cold. I don't know. I feel like it can go both ways. So this says, a prince in hiding, an apprentice mage healer. In a land of snow and ice called Era, the Eridan Prince Fane Stagrunner finds himself running from the only life he has ever known. He's thrown into a world of magicians, relics, healers, and a mystery that may mean the end of everything he loves. I don't know if you can hear the 3-year-old giggling out there. Yeah, so I'm very intrigued. Want to read this. It's going on my list. We'll see if I can get to it. Definitely the month for big books. One that was sent to me a while ago that I really want to get to is To End Every War. This one is a science fiction story. It says, assassinations headlined, revolutions smoldering, war without end. Welcome to an optimistic, progressive era world on the brink of an unfathomable global war rooted in division and rebellion. 6 unique women must rise above societal prejudices and find unexpected friendship, unity, and love. And I like the idea of like a good, strong female cast. So yeah, I would really like to get to this one in April as well, especially since I'm in the mood for big books. I have 3 more to round out here. Like I said, I will be traveling a little bit, so I wanted to get some ebooks read, but I kind of also want to focus on ebooks that I own. Another one that I have on ebook is All the Lost Places by Amanda Dykes. I also own the physical copy. This would help me read a physical book, but also get a read an ebook, but also get a physical book checked off my list. So this is an option. This is set in Venice, and we're dual timeline. We're 1807 and 1904. So in 1807 it says, when a baby is discovered floating in a basket along the quiet canals of Venice, a guild of artisans takes him in and raises him as a son, skilled in each of their trades. Although the boy, Sebastian, has wrestled with questions of his origins, it isn't until a woman washes ashore on his lagoon island that answers begin to emerge. Ooh, that's interesting. 1904. Daniel Goodman is given a fresh start in life as the century turns. Hoping to redeem a past laden with regrets, he is sent on an assignment from California to Venice to procure and translate a rare book. There he discovers a city of colliding hope and decay, much like his own life, and a mystery wrapped in the pages of that filigree-covered volume. Not sure if that's how you pronounce that. Yeah, I've really liked most of her books that I've read. She has a very like lyrical, poetic feeling writing style, which I understand is not for everyone. And I don't always like it, but I do enjoy it when she writes it, usually. Okay, the next 2 are much shorter. First of all, The Phantom Toll Booth. Honestly, I know nothing about this book, but I really want to read it. I think it has to do, I saw it on a list of books related to math, and it's a classic. I don't know what year it was published in. Oh, the phone number for the person that owned it before me is in here. 1961. For Milo, everything's a bore. When a toll booth mysteriously appears in his room, he drives through only because he's got nothing better to do. But on the other side, things seem different. Milo visits the island of conclusions. You get there by jumping. Learns about time from a ticking watchdog named Talk, and even embarks on a quest to rescue Rhyme and Reason. Somewhere along the way, Milo realizes something astonishing. Life is far from dull. In fact, it's exciting beyond his wildest dreams. I actually kind of wonder if I should read this with my 10-year-old. It sounds like his kind of book. We might do that in April. And the last book. It's a short one. It's What Katie Did, and this is book 3 in the series where we follow Katie Carr. I shared this in my spring book recommendations. It starts in September, but I think it's supposed to take place over an entire year, and she travels to Europe for a year. I'd like to do that in April. That would be fun. So when Mrs. Ashe discovers that her visiting nephew has scarlet fever, she sends her young daughter Amy to stay with the Carr family. There, Amy develops a strong attachment to Katie, who treats her like a little sister. Mrs. Ash, grateful for the kindness Katie has shown, invites her to join them on a year-long trip around Europe. Katie is at first reluctant. Why? A year is a long time to be away from her family. Okay, fair. But why? But soon she gets swept up in the adventure, which takes her from the historic but rainy London streets to the beautiful cities of Venice, Paris, and Naples. Yes, 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 please. I've really enjoyed book 1. Book 2 was like high school drama that just got really annoying, especially because our main characters were like pretty good, but just in a bad situation. I feel like this would be a good situation. So it's excessive. I'm not going to get through all those books, but I am going to spend my April trying to. Let me know what you guys are reading in April. If any of these books like sounded really interesting to you, maybe I can try to get to them first, or if you love any of these books and you think I will, let me know so I can prioritize them. I hope that we both have a great reading month in April.